Drogba indirdi ceza. Snyder. Snyder gol! Allah'ım gol! Muslera. Fernando Muslera. Golün adı Muslera. Sarıyoglu. Drogba! This is incredible!
Hello, and welcome to episode 55 of The Lion's Den, a Galatasaray podcast done by the community for the community. I'm your host, Emre, and alongside me is my bro, Yasin. That's right. It's an all-American podcast, baby. Oh yeah, we're feeling good now. We're on top of the world. We played Başakşehir. We won with a penalty from Icardi, who took a shot like a true American. If Salah Maz was here, they'd probably throw a joke about guns, but then we don't care because they ain't here. We're going to exercise our First Amendment today, and it is how it is, baby. Yasin, how you feeling, bro?
Yo, I'm good, man. Great intro. It's just you and me today, man. We got the guys are MIA. Some of them are on vacation. Some of them are at the game. You know, they watch the game live. I'm very jealous. But I'm excited to be here with you, man. It's just you and me. We can do our own thing today.
I'm glad you liked the intro, man. I hope everyone else likes it as well. But yeah, it's just me and you for once, you know. It's a different type of experience. But hopefully everyone enjoys this episode. I'm pretty sure everyone's feeling good right now. And they're excited to hear us talk, I hope. But yeah, like Yasin said, the rest of the lads couldn't make it. Our boy John was at the game. He had a good time. He sent us some pics, some videos. He'll talk more about it when he's on the pod some other time. With that said, we got some talking points. We got quite a bit of talking points today, even though it's going to be just me and Yasin. It'll be a long one. So, where do you want to start, Yasin? Do you want to start with some rumors, or do you want to start with our opposition losing some points?
I think we can kind of stick to the usual schedule and just talk about recent news a little bit. And included in that recent news is obviously our opposition, I should say. They thought they were catching up. A lot of fans of our own thought they were catching up, so things are starting to get a little bit nervy. But it's May. May is the month of Galatasaray, and it started off pretty good for us, I'd say. Unfortunately, the Beşiktaş game last week was the last day of April, so that didn't align with our May schedule too well. But
right.
It's a new start for us, and it's a great one so far, I'd say. But before we get into the opposition, just quickly touch on some Galatasaray news. First one is regarding our youth player Beknaz Almazbekov. Maybe you guys saw the first part of the news, the end part of the news, but just to clarify everything, Beknaz on Instagram, he looked to be a goodbye letter addressed to the fans. Had a lot of guys worried because we've been excited to see Beknaz be included in the A squad and become a part of this team for the future for quite some time, because he's done a lot for our youth team. Whether that's score a lot of goals, free kicks, or just, be a good a leader in terms of his character on the pitch. We've seen loads of examples of this. And it looked like he was leaving. And then a lot of people got worried. There were rumors that, said he might go to Fenerbahce. And that was all very quickly shut down. He posted something on Instagram story of him pointing four fingers when they beat Fenerbahce youth team in Kadıköy in Fenerbahce's stadium. So that shut down that rumor real quick. And then somebody wrote to him on Instagram and said, "Hey, are you leaving?" He's like, "No, there's no such thing like that." So hopefully that denial is true and he does stick around, because I think a lot of people are excited to see what this kid becomes on the A team.
Fenerbahce shenanigans at play, I see. I did see a lot of those rumors saying that, Fenerbahce is going to sign him next season or something like that. Okay, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the funniest part is, Emre, like, it was so believable too, because it's not so much of something towards Beknaz himself that makes it believable, but more so Fenerbahce's interest, because it's a tale as old as time. Fenerbahce just being interested in Galatasaray players, Galatasaray coaches, ex-Galatasaray players. It's something that we see all the time, brought up in the news, sometimes at night, sometimes not. Sometimes the players 10, 15 years later bring up the news and say, hey, Fenerbahce offered me 3, 4, 5 times more money, but I said no because I love Galatasaray. So unfortunately, these things will probably continue to be the case for the longest time. But it looks like our players really do love the club and their experiences here. And
Right.
more often than not, they don't really go down that, that dark path.
The ones that do, we see what happens to them. So by all means, take whatever you can from us. Because if we don't take them, that means they weren't worth keeping in the first place. So.
Well said.
All right. So what else do we got, Yasin?
One of our own, Baris Alper Yilmaz signed a contract extension until 2026-2027 season. This one kind of came out of the blue. I actually don't know when his ongoing contract was supposed to finish. I assume he had probably a year or 2 left, but now we locked him up for at least 3, 4 more years. And that's a good sign, honestly. Baris Alper Yilmaz, even though he, is under a lot of criticism sometimes, rightfully, if we're going to criticize him, we don't do it with no merit. But he's 22 years old. He's turning 23 soon, and he offers something on the wing that doesn't really, not all players have that same skill set, his speed, his strength. So let's see what's to become of him. We've had the conversation many times before, but he might be a striker like Burak Yilmaz one day. That's kind of the ceiling that we've put on him. If he gets anywhere near that, good for him and good for us. If he doesn't, then he's not really an expensive signing. He's not an inexpensive contract that I'm aware of. So good for him. That one was official. On a rumor side that's kind of related to that is Kerem is apparently also up for an extension himself too. Some very reputable sources are saying that it's already signed. It just needs to be announced. That rumor came out soon after his, but it was probably too close to the Başakşehir game. So I assume they're going to wait until maybe a couple days after this game is now finalized. I don't be surprised if you see something midweek before our next game versus Istanbulspor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to see that we're tying up Kerem. I'm really curious if it's going to have some sort of, release clause or not. But
Dursun isn't doing the old, I'm sorry to cut you off, but he's not making the same mistakes as last time. He's not doing no Ozan Kabak type shit, right? Because last time, look how we lost him. I'm not a big fan of Pumpkinhead, but you know how it is. I'm glad he's not making the same mistakes anymore. We've all asked, internally, and we've actually put our thoughts here as well. Is Dursun Özbek going to make the same mistakes again, or did he learn from his mistakes? And we can quite well see that he did learn from his mistakes, and that's a refreshing thing to see. People actually learning something and changing for the better.
Yeah, and I think this ties to the conversations that we've had and the rumors we've seen of Erden Timur, Dursun Özbek, and his team already starting to think about next season before this one finishes. And, at face value, you might think, okay, what's the next transfer, right? Are we going to sign a new striker? Are we going to sign this guy? Are we going to make this loanee permanent, like Rashica? But all part of this plan is also to take what we currently have and make sure that they stick around and that they're happy going into the new season and they finish the season strong. Because the last thing that you want is a player that's uncertain about his future heading into the most important stretch of the season. And then going into the summer as well. You want your players to enjoy their summers. You want them to relax as much as they can. Of course, every situation is going to be a little bit different. Icardi's is not going to be that simple. But if we can make the simple ones like Kerem and Baris happy early on, that's a great idea. So I'd love to see it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think the other person that's probably more likely to be able to sign is Rashica, because Norwich actually lost today. Who was it against? Against Blackpool, and keeping their odds lower from, going up to the Premier League. So I think we're going to be able to grab Rashica there. Hopefully we'll get the duo package with him and Icardi.
Hopefully, man. I love Rashica. Um, let's see what happens with that. But he's doing a great job so far.
Yeah, man. And there's one more topic that I think it's more appropriate if I introduce this because, you know.
Go for it.
All right. So on Twitter, many of you probably know Nevzat Dindar. He's very close to the club. He gets a lot of inside information, which usually turns out to be true. So I don't know if you guys have followed any of the social media since yesterday. Oh, well, it's Monday as of recording, but after the Fenerbahce game, Erman Toroğlu, who's on Aspor, was recently, revealing some stuff like important things. Like he was saying how Lale Orta was going and calling up observers and asking them to change their, basically their score on a ref's performance, right? And they were telling them, oh, change it. And they didn't change it. I think one of them, I forgot who it was. I can't remember off the top of my head. But what I do remember is after they didn't change it and they sent it in, he no longer got any games. He wasn't assigned any games after that. And so hearing this, according to Nevzat Dindar, he's saying after all of these allegations came out to be true, or, well, not true, but from Erman Toroğlu, and seemingly a lot of it seemingly seems to be true, and you can correlate it by seeing that the ref hasn't got any games since, that incident. Galatasaray are going to ask for the investigation of Lale Orta after the statements of Erman Toroğlu regarding the intervention of Lale Orta and the observers who report on the matches. These investigations include listening to phone records and investigating every game since she took office. Now, I'm pretty sure you will find something if this actually goes into fruition, because there's no way in hell. I mean, this should have happened way before when she was going on BN and telling them to, not show certain viewpoints or certain angles of certain positions. Well, I don't know, Yasin. Am I going crazy here? Is how 30 million fans going crazy here?
I mean, I think smoke doesn't come out of a place where there's no fire.
Well said.
Is all of this, are all these rumors true? Maybe, maybe not. But if there's something new coming out every single week from a different mouth every single week, then you really have to question why this is the case, right? Are we necessarily getting butchered every single week? No. Sometimes refs are fortunately not the star of the show. But there's not just our games. Other games are played in the league as well. And there's a lot of inconsistencies. And more than just what's on the field, the decisions that are made behind, as you just mentioned, are very controversial. I don't know what's going to come of this, Emre. There's a lot we can really discuss. In my honest opinion, I think she's going to be a goner by the end of the season. Erden Tumur says that he has a lot that he's going to publicize at the end of the season. Reporters are saying that there's investigations going on and whether there can be lawsuits held with the information that they are finding. And I think she's not really going to be able to make it alive out of the position that she's currently in, just because of all the controversy. If Galatasaray do become champions, that might change how things play out as well. If the rumors are true and she was brought in to kind of help Fenerbahce become champions, that's probably I'm just assuming, right? Like I don't want to instigate too much, but that maybe that's because of Ali Koç. And if Fenerbahce don't become champions like Ali Koç promised they would, who knows what's going to happen to him and his position, and with that, what's going to happen to Lale Orta and her position. So a lot can change, and I just really want us to focus as much as we can on the football that we have ahead of us, which is what, at this point, 3-4 games left. And we're doing a pretty good job of it. It's obviously really stressful. But, Emre,
why is it
my
stressful?
wish is that it's stressful because, we want to become champions and we think we deserve to become champions. And we played like champions for most of the season. We've had ups and downs. Right now, the last couple of weeks, we aren't our best, but
no. But why do you feel stressful? Is it because of the way we're playing, or is it because this TFF and MHK is corrupt as hell, and at any given moment they can come and screw you over just on a whim? Because that's what most people are afraid of. Because they're not looking at our opposition and thinking, damn, they play some good football. I'm really concerned because I look at Fenerbahce and I'm thinking, wow, they don't even deserve to be chasing us for this the title. And you look at most of what their own fans are saying, yo, we can't beat anybody on the top of the leaderboards and the bottom of the leaderboards. We don't deserve to be champions. So is it really our play, or is most people concerned about the political side, the whole ref side?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think you have a good point. A lot of it probably has to do with the ref side and the inconsistencies and the bullshit that we see. But the reason why I still say it has to do with us as well is because I think if we play our game, like the footballers on the pitch and Okan Hoca and the decisions he makes, if they play their A game, even hell their B plus B game, we should be winning these games comfortably because we've seen it. We've seen the games we've absolutely dominated, and we've seen that the refs have nothing they can do about those games because we're just completely dominant on the pitch, and our players are more skillful. We create more chances. But lately, it's getting too close to comfort where, to your point, the refs can change the outcome of the game because we can allow them. So I think it's a mixture of both. Of course, there's no perfect world where we can, or any team can play to their A capacity every single game. It's just not possible because they're stressed out too. And this stress is beyond the refs. It's the, as I just mentioned, the want to become champions. There's a lot of demand from the fans, and it's not to a point where it's toxic. The fans are wanting what they see is possible, and that's a championship. They know that the squad we have and the coach we have should deserve and deserves a championship. We are clearly better than every single team in this league by a margin, and we've proven that many times. And the fact that it's so close is stressful because, God forbid, we make a mistake, the ref makes a mistake, the other team has the best game of their life, and all of a sudden it's now a 1 point difference, and we're going to head into the last game of the season and potentially lose at home to Fenerbahce and have them lift the trophy. I mean, these are worst case scenarios, right? Like I don't think that that's going to happen.
It could happen.
But the stress is there. It's there. And like, you can't deny that. However confident you are, you can't deny that possibility scares you. So that affects us fans, and undoubtedly it affects the players too. But Okan Hoca is a Galatasaray player in and out, from youth to coach to player to everything. So he's lived it. He's been coached by Fatih Terim himself, the legend, and that's a mentality that you can't just, not everybody has it, and you can't learn it either, but he's experienced it. So let's see what happens. Emre.
We're the only team so far. I believe we're the only team to have beaten everyone in the league this season. So I feel like we definitely deserve the championship. But deserve and want is two different things, right? Yeah. Actually earning it in the end is the important part. And so far, we have a 5-point lead. And part of that reason is Fenerbahce tied yesterday against Giresunspor, likely candidate for being relegated. So it was a 1-1 draw, which honestly, I felt like Giresun could have actually taken the win that game. And if you were to look at it from an outside perspective and I scrounged around the internet, and I really don't feel like Fenerbahce are going to be able to recover from this. Like, most of the fans are just done, and I don't know, they're done. In and out. They don't really believe in a championship, especially when you can't beat one of the worst teams in the league. Quality-wise and play-wise, Giresun hasn't been doing well at all. And they haven't been able to produce anything. They look at the hands of Arda Güler, who is probably their best player, and they're depending on this 18-year-old kid. It's kind of like how we were depending on Kerem last season to produce something. It's exactly what they're doing right now, except they're not in 13th place. But yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Emre, where's my thank you? I mean, come on.
Shout out to all the Giresunlus and Yasin. Thank you.
Thank you. And, another thank you I deserve for wearing my Giresunspor jersey as I watch this game. whether that's the reason or not, Giresunspor actually got a point. But hey, every little thing counts. And yeah, man, like Giresunspor played, I'd say, better than Fenerbahce that game. Like they maybe a little
I
bit.
felt like they
maybe it
should
was
have gotten the full 3 points.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think we deserved it. We being Giresunspor. I mean, we had a little bit of that new coach boost. We unfortunately let go of our prior coach after some time. I think change was needed for both sides. And hey, I was following Giresunspor online and on social media and the fans and everything. People were excited for this game, man. We really thought that we can do something, and a good result against Fenerbahce at home was something that can maybe change our fate in this league and whether we get relegated or not. And how about that celebration at the end? Did you hear the song, Emre?
Oh, how can I miss that? Telling someone not to cry.
Yeah, for those who didn't catch it and didn't see it, as soon as the final whistle blew at Giresun versus Fenerbahce and the game finished a tie, the announcer immediately starts playing Fener Ağlama. And I'd say most of the stands and most of the fans there start singing along. And there's tons of videos where people are not only singing the basic chorus, but the part where you curse as well. I mean, I'm not going to say it on the podcast, but if you know, you know. If you don't, check it out. It's pretty intense. But yeah, man, I didn't expect that. The Giresunspor Başkan ended up apologizing today to Ali Koç. Apparently, Ali Koç called him after the game and was like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, I don't know."
You don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're being little babies, because this happened to us before. I believe Konyaspor acted like this. How can I forget about Rize? Exactly. Rizespor, Kayserispor, Sivasspor. They all act like this towards us, but you don't see our unit team crying.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It is what it is. They tied, Emre. Now the point difference. Well, the point difference.
I was gonna say that 5.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
how are you feeling
5.
about that? 5-point
now
lead.
It's 5. Indeed. So we just won today against Başakşehir, and 5 points, man. Is that with the same amount of games? It is. Okay, it is. So we have one less loss, one less draw, and 2 more wins than Fenerbahce, meaning we're a 5-point difference. That is huge. That's huge. That gives us a lot of comfort going into the last 4 games of the season, and knowing that the last game is at home versus Fenerbahce. Emre, I don't know about you, man, but the goal, should not just be championship at this point. It should be becoming champions prior to the derby, so that we come out of the tunnel on that last day, whereas Fenerbahce as champions, and put them in a position where they have to applaud us, make them hold flowers, do the whole 9 yards, and really rub it in their faces.
I don't know, man.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Look, you can want that. Wanting is different, but there's a whole different side to that. What if the complete opposite happens, and you never know. You wouldn't want that to happen to you.
Yeah.
But we have a 5-point lead. It's funny. Fenerbahce wants 5 stars. Beşiktaş wants 5 points, But on both of them, we got a 5-point difference. Look at this.
Yeah.
God's looking out for us, man.
Yeah, Beşiktaş is funny too. I mean, if you guys listen to the last podcast with Bob and we talked about the Beşiktaş, I do have a soft spot for Beşiktaş.
From your uncle, I listened.
From my uncle, my enişte, and I never really saw Beşiktaş as a club either that were in toxic, especially nowhere near the levels of Fenerbahce. So naturally, I had a little bit more respect for them. But to the fans of Beşiktaş, these guys are doing math already, some sort of calculations, they're gonna come and potentially win the league. Come on, let's be realistic. I get it, and huge respect. Their form is immaculate. They're playing next level of football right now. They beat us 3-1 last week. When I say next level, I mean per the league standards, right? they're doing damn well. They beat us 3-1 last week. They deserved it. Of course, the third goal was in the last minute. Not to really talk too much about that game again, but they're doing well for themselves. But like, are you not watching Galatasaray this season? Like, do you think that Galatasaray is just gonna all of a sudden, absolutely shit the bed the last couple of weeks? I get it if you think you can pass Fenerbahce, and that might happen. But you think Galatasaray is gonna all of a sudden give up this many points that you're gonna all of a sudden become first, and that's assuming you win all your games? Like, let's be realistic. But that goes to show how crazy this league is, Emre. I guess everybody has a little bit of hope. You give everybody a little bit of food, a little bit of snack, and they ask for everything. They all of a sudden they can reach for the stars. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we're the same way. I don't think we are. I think we're being very realistic. And with that said, I'd love to get into the game. If there's something else.
I agree. There's a difference between us and Fenerbahce. We especially when it's May, Mayıslar bizimdir. We go into it with full throttle, full force, baby. And Beşiktaş needs to lay off that paint thinner. You know what I mean? It's one thing to dream, but I don't know, man. I don't think we'll drop it that much. Look, listen, we have 5 points and a game in hand. Okay, it's not that simple. But with that said, I think we covered most of what we wanted to talk about, and let's talk about what everyone wants us to talk about: the game. Başakşehir, 1-0 win. Yasin, take us into the game.
Yeah, let's do it. So, I mean, we pretty much covered leading up to it, right? The arrivals and how they did, how they didn't do, and the point differences, and that obviously got the vibes very, very good heading into the game. Our good friend John on the podcast, he was at the game and he was sharing pictures, he was sharing videos. I don't know if you kept up with Rodop and all, and the videos before before the game outside the stadium. People felt good heading into this game. Of course, it's our probably last most difficult game if you don't include Fenerbahce, but people felt good.
Dude. I'm just gonna say this. Today, I have never been more confident that we were gonna win as I was today. Like Beşiktaş, I didn't feel too good about it. I didn't say it because I usually don't say it. But this game, I woke up today and I knew. I'm not going to say why I knew, because whenever I reveal something, something like this, it turns like, I just like jinx it, right? Just like last time. So, you know what? I'm keeping it to myself.
All right. I respect it. And hey, I felt good too. And I'm still trying to figure out why. I don't know if it was because the fact that Fenerbahce had lost points, or because it's May, or because we're at home. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's everything, but I felt good heading into the game as well. And, we started off that way. So I guess I'll get right into the lineup. And guys, there's not a lot of changes. Again, Okan Buruk is really sticking with his 11. The only change this time, again, is our kind of weakest position. It's the only one that's really uncertain. And that's our left back position. Sam sat on the bench and Kazımcan made an appearance at left back today. And we'll get to it, but boy, did he put in a performance today. And, was it godly, different, out of world, all that? Maybe, maybe not. But was it above our expectations? Absolutely. So Kazımcan on the left, Abdülkerim, Victor, Nelson, Sacha Bowie is our back line. Sergio, Lucas, you guys already know it. Kerem, Rashica on the wings, Mertens in the middle. Icardi, our only goal scorer, up top today. Başakşehir, I'm not even going to waste my time going through the lineup. Who cares? Emre Belözoğlu, welcome back. Başakşehir, welcome back. Good to see you. You got lucky last time in the cup game, but we reminded them of the score from last time and what it's like to lose again, and we won today. So that was really good.
I wonder what Mahmut's Tekdemir's wife's doing right now. Is she making those stupid faces at Mahmut?
Oh
really curious.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, actually. I totally forgot about it. You mentioned it, but Başakşehir's tweet today, did you see that before the game? We both forgot to mention it, but...
Famous last words.
They're so stupid, man. Like,
I swear to God.
Do you remember last year? No, not last year.
When last time we became championships, so they were like, "Oh, we've never woken up into a championship day," or something along the lines, or woken up as champions. They talked so much shit, and it blew up in their face.
Bro, like I don't know if they do this stuff on purpose, if they like to just play on the edge or what it is, but how do you make a tweet like that before you play Galatasaray away? Twice. You expect to learn your lesson the first time. I think at this point they were just memeing. Tell
what the tweet was, the second tweet, because people haven't seen it yet.
God, I think I have to find it, but
I'll paraphrase it if you want.
Go for it. Yeah.
It's literally the same thing. We never woken up, yada yada. But this time they said they never woken up with 60 million people supporting them because they have like no fans. So majority of the fans are everyone else's fans. So yeah,
exactly, dude. I saw fans of like Beşiktaş and like people who absolutely hate Başakşehir for government reasons, their connection to the government. I respect everybody's opinion, but yeah, they hate Başakşehir and they're like, yeah, you know what? Today is one of those days where I'm just gonna support Başakşehir because I just don't want Galatasaray to do well. Like, to all you people, screw you. I hope you're happy. I hope you're not happy. I hope you're very upset, and I hope you're gonna enjoy watching Galatasaray become champions. Hopefully.
You know what was Galatasaray's response after the game?
Tell the people.
Guys, you know what they said? And they replied, 85 million people know that May is ours. Damn.
What a tweet. What a
baller move, bro.
Son gülen iyi güler, bro. That's all I have to say.
That is true. So, Yasin, take us through the first half, second half, and give us your general thoughts on the game.
Yeah, so I think, just before we get into the positions, I guess, I thought we started off pretty strong. Good press. Actually, you know what? I will get into the positions since it wasn't all too many. Minute 3, Mertens back-to-back positions. Kerem put a nice through ball behind the defense. Icardi had a shot. Goalie saved it. Deflected to Mertens. Took a shot. Deflected. Back to Mertens. Took a shot. Deflected. Back-to-back. Led to a corner. The fans got excited very quickly from minute 3. Fast forward to minute 14. Torreira had a great chance. He had a volley that was a header that was deflected from Icardi into the middle of the box. Torreira with a pretty damn good volley, which happened to deflect off the defender. No goal, but it's still a good chance. Minute 28, Sacha put in a great cross. Kerem headed it right to the goalie, unfortunately. Would love to see Kerem kind of find the side of the net a little bit better. Maybe he should take some note from Icardi, but still a good chance nonetheless. Minute 41, we had a controversial position. Icardi was taken down in the box. Defender kind of took the ball and Icardi at the same time. No VAR, no call, move on. It was controversial. People got a little bit upset about it, especially because we were doing pretty damn well in the first half leading up to that. But we still didn't have a goal, so people were kind of getting a little bit anxious. But fortunately, we did find that goal before half in the 5 extra minutes in the first half. Sergio put in a nice cross from the left side. I guess Başakşehir player thought he was playing volleyball or basketball. I don't know what he thought, but his elbow and his arm was out like a chicken. He was trying to fly, I think. So
he thought it was an owl.
He thought it was an owl. I don't know what he thought he was, but he wasn't playing soccer. The ball hit his arm. Ref stood there, listened to his mic, got called to the VAR, gave a penalty. Fortunately, I thought it was a very clear position.
Bro.
If they did not give VAR to that, I was going to lose it. And I know you would have too, Emre.
Dude, you know what kind of ref this guy, Umut Meler, is? Bro, I watched the replay. When that handball happened, this man didn't even look at the position. He turned his head away to look at something else. Like, what are you doing? What kind of ref are you? Bro, imagine there was no VAR. To be fair, there wasn't VAR most of the season anyway in our name. But, like, after that whole Icardi thing, which I thought was a penalty, and I only say it's a damn penalty because of the things that I've seen in this league, the pens that were given in this league, mostly to one team in particular. But regardless, it should have been a pen. But if they didn't give this, that would be scandalous. Scandalous.
Yeah, I think people would have really lost their minds, like you said, especially after that earlier non-call, just a few minutes before that. This one was very clear, and I would have been shocked if they didn't call us a penalty. And hey, that's not the whole part of the story, right? Like, we can get penalties, but we have to finish them too. And, that leads me to discuss Icardi's goal. Did you feel comfortable with Icardi heading into that position to take the penalty.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna even front. I thought like someone else was gonna take it. I thought like Sergio Oliveira would take it, or someone just not Icardi, right? Because he already missed 3 pens so far in the season, so his record isn't great. But this man, I don't know. He came up there like a damn boss. He shot that ball so hard, man. I thought the net was gonna tear apart.
Yeah, dude, that was actually insane. If he scored that penalty for Argentina in the last final game, they would probably put up a trophy for him because that's how incredible that penalty was. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, I was worried too, Emre, especially recent
the Panenkas.
Panenka, that's
so
still got
stupid.
me. That
That
gave
still
me some PTSD.
pisses. Yo, it's so dumb.
Bro, you know how like before players take penalties, it shows you like their last penalties, like with like a circle where they scored and where they missed.
Yeah, he had like 3 or something. I'm from 3.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 missed penalties, and I saw the spot where I know he fucking hit that stupid Panenka, and I was just like, relived that in my moment. I'm
bro,
like,
who shoots a Panenka to the right side, bro? I cannot.
Please, like I was like, he's definitely not gonna do it. I just hope he doesn't overthink it again. And my God, bro, that like, I was like, damn, like, you know that meme where like the 2 guys go like back in their seat, like, damn, like that was me.
Yeah, the Chris Tucker meme. Like,
yeah,
damn,
dude, bro, that was me, man. God damn, like even if the goalie guessed that side and he knew he was gonna hit that side, he still would not save it. That's like it was a bullet. It was low. It was to the corner. Like, he was laser focused. And man, like, if I'm a Başakşehir player and I see that, I'm like, this motherfucker ain't fooling around, man. Like, goddamn.
Cardi's a true American.
Yeah.
Shooting bullets out there.
That was really good going into the half. And it really changed, I think, probably projection of the rest of the game. So heading into the second half, it was much lower to start. And I think there's a lot that we can discuss in terms of how that shaped up. But in terms of positions, just to quickly get through it, Başakşehir in the 62nd minute got pretty damn close to the goal, Emre.
Oh man, dude, my heart stopped. I know what you're talking about.
I lost some of my years, man. You want to explain it?
Okay, so they shot a corner. And from this corner, it deflects off of Kazımcan because he like misplaces his foot, and it goes backwards towards our goal. It goes past everyone and right past the post, dude. You don't understand. Some like you know that meme of Derin Galatasaray where all the people in like priest robes.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's like some magical force stopped it from hitting the post and going in, and it just went straight out, bro. Dude, my heart completely stopped for like 5 seconds. I thought I was gonna pass out. Dude, I can't imagine what John felt at that point. You know what I mean? Like, he's there live.
Not only was John there live for the listeners, John was like on that side of the pitch on the right side. So like where the corner kick came from, he's basically there, like in, the middle section. So he sees this pretty much like directly from the side. And the reason why I say that is because he probably couldn't tell immediately if that ball was going towards goal, like in the goal, or just wide. So his heart probably sunk in that moment. And I need John. We might have to do a little bit of flashback whenever he does return home and is on the podcast. I really need to know what he felt in that moment, and I need him to explain it to people because, my God, dude, like everybody in the chat was like, I felt like I lost years off my life. It felt like slow motion. Like that one position felt like 10 seconds. But fortunately, it didn't go in, Emre, and that's all that matters, right? It didn't go in. And hey, even if it did, it was the minute 62, and we still had at least 30 minutes to turn things around. But moving on, because enough of that position. Minute 79. Emre, I thought this was probably my favorite moment of the game, even better than the goal, even though we didn't score. I just found it so interesting. And it was even more unique because it was against Başakşehir. And I'll explain why soon. But It's a corner kick. We get a corner kick from the left side. It's a minute 79. I'm sure you'll see it on the replays too, if you guys want to look back. Kerem takes a corner kick, and he takes it prematurely before the ref blows a whistle. You know, ref always has to blow the whistle when he's ready, right? Make sure he's looking at everybody. Kerem takes a corner kick before the ref blows a whistle. Abdülkerim heads it, and he scores. Everybody celebrates, but ref says, no goal. I didn't blow the whistle. Kerem's upset. He laughs it off, goes to take another corner kick. He takes corner kick number 2. Abdülkerim meets the ball again, and this time it skids off the crossbar.
Same spot.
Same spot. Defender takes like the slightest skid off of his head, goes for another corner kick. Abdülkerim is like, are you kidding me? Like, I just scored, it didn't count, and I just headed the ball, and because of a deflection, it hit the crossbar and is out. He's like, oh my God, help me here, right? Corner kick number 3. Emre, this is my mind right now. Can you imagine that Abdülkerim heads the ball again and scores on the third one? In my mind, I'm like, third time's a charm, surely. And then the other part of me is like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, the chances of Abdülkerim finding that 3 times in a row and scoring, what are the chances of that, right? So I laugh it off. I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. Kerem takes a corner kick again. Abdülkerim heads it again. And this time, the defender, for fuck's sake, clears it off the goal line. Like, he's in like the most perfect position to clear it. And then it goes out for, I think, we got the ball. We ended up crossing it. And then we couldn't score, but it was another good chance. But 3 back-to-back-to-back corners, Emre. Back-to-back-to-back corners from Kerem. Back-to-back-to-back headers from Abdülkerim, almost scoring or scoring. Obviously no goal, but I thought that was so cool. And Emre, like, the reason why I thought this was so interesting was because this reminded me of the year we became champions versus Başakşehir. And we scored over and over and over again.
Kept getting canceled.
And it kept getting canceled, bro. Like what were you thinking during this moment?
Bro,
I thought it was so interesting.
I'm going to probably look at it from Başakşehir's side. All right, let's think about this logically. Let's say you're a Başakşehir defender, right? He scores it the first time. It was it got called back. They're probably thinking, all right, we got to hold him. But he's probably going to try something different, right? They do it again. We do it again. It's like, all right. There's no way they do it a third time. And then he does it again for the third time. I'm pretty sure they're just like shitting their pants, hoping not to concede another corner. And, you got to give it to Kerem, bro. I know Abdülkerim is hitting but this dude is hitting it in the same spot. If you don't hit it into the same spot, you're not getting those positions. So Kerem, man, point. That's like pinpoint accuracy, bro.
Yeah.
Man is sniping out there. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And to add on to what you just said, I'm pretty sure it was after those corner kicks where Başakşehir kind of just got shook. And like we were pretty much controlling from then on. I think it was because of the subs in minute 74 as well. But that's pretty much the main positions of the game. Like I said, we had one controversial position. We had one goal, which fortunately and unfortunately came from a penalty, which was 100% deserved. I don't want to hear anybody say otherwise. So a goal is a goal. Don't put your hand in the air if you don't want to let up penalties. So that's all I have to say for that. But we got 3 points. Biz olsun, bizim olsun. That's all we care about right now because it's the final stretch of the season, and 3 points is all we need. We don't need to prove to anybody that we need to score 7 goals, 6 goals again. This is all we need right now. So with that said, Emre, unless there's any other positions that you want to talk about, I want to talk about some other things about the game. And I'll let you kind of pick and choose how you want to get started, but we can talk about the subs.
I think you gotta, go ahead. You pretty much pointed and touched on every single portion or majority of the game, but I'll bring up more parts as we go along.
Yeah. I just want to quickly touch on the subs, and I think I bring this up first because I was really disappointed during the game to see how late the subs came. And I'm gonna kind of let you talk about it first, but Okan Hoca made the first subs, 2 of them, minute 74. Mertens and Zaniolo in. No, Mertens and Sergio out, Zaniolo, Micho in, and the second set of subs, minute 88, Rashica and Kerem out, Baris Alper and Kaan Ayhan in, and the last and fifth sub was minute 95, Kazımcan out, and Dubois in. So what are your thoughts on this? And leading up to it, just give me everything.
Okay, look, there's sometimes a coach doesn't need to make, subs just for the sake of making subs. I've seen teams do well without, you don't have to make subs every single time early on to make a difference, or because sometimes the game is going well and you don't really need the subs. But this time around, I do feel like most people's, issue with it is warranted, especially with Mertens and Sergio. I think the Hoja could have done it a little earlier, maybe like the 65th minute-ish, because, dude, Mertens was gassed. He could not run. You could see it in his face. Dude, everyone's going past Sergio as if he's like a traffic cone, okay? He was gassed as well. And while I'm over here talking about Sergio, I got to say, this was one of his worst games again.
Agreed.
Right? I don't feel like he did. To be honest, Mertens as well has not been good since he came back from injury. Like, he hasn't had a great game. He's not bad by any means, but he hasn't had a great game. Yeah, dude, and I guess Rashica and Kerem could have came a little bit earlier. Those could have came in like the 75th minute, because those are also two names that weren't doing that well, to be honest with you. And like the subs that came in, I think they made a big difference. Like, once you saw Micho and Zaniolo come in, we like kind of changed the perspective or the trajectory the game was heading, because they were coming at us quite. Yep. They didn't get close to us really. And this is another fact. Apparently, we are the only team so far in the league that hasn't given them an opportunity to shoot from within the box. So all of their shots on target came from outside the box.
Impressive, honestly.
So that's big ups to our defense. We'll touch on that a little bit more. But yeah, dude, I think look, could the subs have come on earlier? Yes. Is it the end of the world? Maybe not, since we won. But it could have potentially blown up in the Hoja's face, and he needs to be a little bit more active with it, a little bit more proactive.
Yeah, I mean, Emre, I'm going to be a little bit more critical about it than you were, I think, because...
Go ahead. There's no Dutchies to stop you from speaking your mind today, bud.
Appreciate it. I think given how we lost versus Beşiktaş and how fresh those wounds are, even though I admit I am moved on from it, but during the game, that's not how I felt. The game wasn't over yet. It was tough to see because we were clearly, very, very, very clearly not in control of the game, especially in the midfield. And to your point, and I agree 100%, Sergio was playing what I consider a bad game. Was he awful? Was he losing balls and, giving up terrible positions in the defensive end? No. But was he good? No.
Absolutely
No
not.
as well. No as well. And when you see your midfielder, the core of your midfield, right? He's basically the core of our midfield. He is a number 8. He sits between our defensive midfielder, Torreira, and our attacking midfielder, Mertens. So he is the central point of our team. If he's having a bad game, that's going to affect everybody. And that's going to especially affect our midfield. And seeing him play that badly for that long and Okan not make a single change pissed me off to no end. Because I was so afraid that because of that, they were just going to keep on attack. And they were. I mean, to your point, they didn't have any shots inside the 18. Kudos to our defensive back. We'll talk about our defense soon as well. But they were incredible. But man, Okan, I really freaking need you to react a little bit quicker than that. And Sergio, I think he's a guy with a good mentality. I think he's a good team player. I think he's very mature. And I think he should be able to handle coming off a little bit sooner if he has to. I mean, Okan's not afraid of this. I mean, we saw it, right? I'm not going to discredit Okan Hoca now. He's taken off big names and big players at halftime many times before the season when we needed it.
Yeah, like Icardi,
Torreira, he hasn't started with Torreira before. Like, these things have happened. So it's not like Okan Hoca is not capable of it. So why are you waiting till minute 74? I just don't understand, especially given how the last week played out. So I didn't like that whatsoever. And to your point, man, those subs came in and the game changed completely. Misho brought on so much energy. I get it. Misho is not as good as Sergio in the attack, but he brings energy. And that's what we do so well, Emre. Like we, to move on to, I guess, a different part of the game than this time positive is how well this team presses and attacks and it keeps high pressure. Because that most of that first half, we dominated because we didn't let Başakşehir do anything, Emre. Like our defenders, whether it's Kazımcan, Sacha Bowie, Abdülkerim, Nelson, or Torreira, we didn't let them breathe. Like if the ball is coming in the air, through ball, whatever on the side, our defenders were on the ass of every Başakşehir player in the attack, like in our end and their attack. We didn't let them, like if the ball was coming to them, we made them think, is Abdülkerim on my ass right now? Is his foot about to go between my legs and get the ball? And when you're an attacker and you get that fear, you kind of can't act the way that you normally want to. You think twice, and when you do get the opportunity to shoot, you're gonna probably fuck up because
you gotta think twice and stuff.
You think twice. You're just not on your game, and that's what our defenders do so well, and that's what Misho does well. In that case, that's why I thought Sergio really couldn't come on earlier. But yeah, man, kudos to our defense, Emre. Did you see those stats after the game? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let me point them out real quick for those that didn't see. I don't know if this is a first or not, but Jesus. So for every, fight for the ball in the air, the one-on-ones, Abdülkerim won all of his. So basically everybody on the back four line won all their battles, their duels. Abdülkerim, 9 out of 9 duels won. Nelson, 9 out of 9. Bowie, 9 out of 9. Kazımcan, 3 out of 3. That's insane, bro.
Dude, that's crazy. Like every single one. That's 30 for those who didn't count. Başakşehir put a long ball in the air on our defensive side 30 times. And every single one of those our defenders won. Dude, that's insane to me, Emre. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, man. Sheesh. If you want to talk about defense, you got to talk about Torreira, man. Torreira is the backbone of this team. I'll say it, man. If you don't have Torreira, I don't think we would be where we are without Torreira. Dude, how does a person have this much of a collective streak going, playing well? He's so consistent. I think the one game he had that was bad. One game. But the rest of his game, dude, he's everywhere. He's taking the ball. He's like moving it around. He was doing it quite better than Sergio Oliveira. Dude, Sergio Oliveira kind of reminded me of Selçuk's old form right before he retired, bro. Pass to the side, pass to the left, and pass back. I've never seen Sergio pass back to Muslera and stuff as much as I did this game. It drew me insane.
That's a good point. He was getting even like, I don't want to say whistled, but like fans made it obvious that like...
Yeah, they were like sighing like, ah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm over there going, what the f- are you doing, bro?
Bro, like every other time he did it, he like kind of like put his hands up like, relax, like let's take it easy.
Yes.
And like that's good. Like, I mean, overall, that's another comment I have. Like the team played super smart this game. Like they didn't make stupid passes in the back. I mean, Muslera, I think he had a couple moments again, unfortunately, that were a little bit scary. But overall, I think the defense and midfield played smart. And I guess that's what Sergio was trying to do. But like every single time, like if Torreira is passing the ball and Torreira is in front of you, so he's playing back to you, like why do you need to play it even further back? Like how safe do we have to be? Like did you just not experience the problem with Muslera recently where you pass it back and he passed it to you and you lost the ball? Like why are we trying to potentially get into these situations again? Like there's no need for it. Like take the damn ball and play it across. Like I feel like he's not playing with confidence. Emre. Like, do you think that's what it might be? Like, has he?
Well, yeah.
Does he see the feedback from the fans? Like, he's really close on social media. I think he follows what people are saying, and I'm afraid that like he might have lost some confidence. I can't explain. I can't think of any other explanation.
Both Muslera and Sergio are like probably two of the players that lost a lot of confidence as of late. Muslera isn't on his best form. Actually, he was pretty decent today, to be honest. But I think Sergio took the Beşiktaş game way too hard and just trying to play as safe as possible. Because, like you said, I think we came out in this game to play a little bit of a balanced game. Like, we did come off strong in the first 25 minutes, give or take. But, like, we started, like, slowing down because they did start finding some, opportunities by throwing the ball behind the defense, specifically Bowie with Serdar Güler. And they almost found a couple of positions like that. Nothing came out of it. But, yeah, like, Sergio in general was just on edge, bro, on edge. You could see that he was not playing with the confidence that he usually plays at, for sure. But like I said, I guess that's a product of the last game. But give it another game. Let him get back in his groove. We got Misho, this guy's like Schrodinger's box, man. You never know what you're going to get. He's either going to be good, he's going to be great, or he's going to be terrible. There's no in between. You never know what you're going to get.
Unfortunately, he's on the good side more often than not. But yeah, I for the most part I trust Misho. Like if we need him, I feel like last week too, when we put him on as a sub, I think he positively impacted how we attacked the game. And he's not an attacking midfielder per se. He's not like a number 10, but because of his pressure and his ability to carry the ball forward from the back, think like remember Ndiaye back in the day?
Yeah.
Like, he was a defensive midfielder, but like he would take the ball.
He was like an 8.
Yeah, he would bring it up, and that's what Misho is. Well, Misho is actually not a 6 at all. He actually is an 8, but I think he's more of a defensive 8. I could be wrong here, but he does a pretty good job bringing the ball up. He has decent pace. He can dribble with speed. He's not like the fastest dribbler like Onyekuru or something, but he can still do a damn good job bringing the ball up, and he has a confidence to beat a defender or two in the midfield. So I think we should trust him a little bit more and not be so concerned about having to play Sergio longer just because he's Sergio.
Right.
But, I guess we'll see what happens there.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if the team is just in general not playing the best they can. Like, for example, our pressing, I don't know what happened, it's not on the same trajectory that it was before. Our pressing was immaculate. But as of late, teams I don't know if they got used to it. Our pressing isn't as good. And we used to get a lot of positions that way. And what do you think is the cause of that?
I think Sergio. I'm so glad you brought this up because I didn't take note of it, but I did pay attention to it in the game. Torreira presses, Merton presses, our wings press, Icardi presses, our defenders press up. But the only guy that doesn't really do a good job pressing where he needs to and positioning himself according to his teammates' presses is Sergio. And I kind of realized this pretty early in the game, and so I paid even more attention to Sergio. He's kind of just like out there running sometimes, and it's really upsetting because Torreira would press one guy, and like Sergio's like in the same damn area, just like wandering. Like if your teammate's pressing one guy, your job as a teammate is not to press the same guy. Rather, it's get to the guy that he can pass to, so you cut off passing lanes.
Yeah,
so that you give him no options. And by cutting off his passing lane, then you can either win the ball or allow your other teammates that are pressing and cutting their passing lanes to win the ball. To your point, we previously were way better at this, but I think your pressing and your team game, especially press-wise, your team pressing, is only as good as your weakest link. Because if your weakest link is not doing his job, that means there's an open man. And if there's an open man, these guys are professional footballers. Like we can call out good ones and bad ones, but at the end of the day, they're professional footballers. And they're going to most likely see that open player and make that pass. And when they make that pass, then the press that the rest of your team made kind of goes to waste, right? So yeah. I saw that weakness, and that's also why I wanted Sergio off sooner than later, because he was ruining the press. And that also... You mentioned Mertens, why he's not as effective. I think that's affecting Mertens as well. Mertens is, my God, he's running out there like he's 25 years old. Good for him.
but you can't
He's
expect
running
Mertens.
endlessly, bro. He's just running endlessly because at the end of the day, they're just like passing around and he's just running around like a chicken, bro. Like a headless chicken.
Exactly. Like, how can you expect Mertens to take the ball and do something impressive if he's so busy running and sprinting and pressing all the time? That's why I think Sergio makes the job more difficult for Torreira and Mertens. Torreira, thank God he's incredible, and mashallah, like hopefully he stays that way. He's really doing an incredible job covering Sergio's position defensively. But like, how much longer can he do it for? I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, man, Sergio really needs to pick it up, and I hope Okan can communicate that to him and help him fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I think we touched on most of the things. One thing I wanted to touch on was our lack of attacking threat. Like, for example, like we mentioned, Kerem and Rashica was not on their A game today. Even though Icardi scored the goal, he wasn't on his A game either. And we found chances, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of the chances was blocked by Başakşehir. I gotta give it up to Başakşehir's defensive line, especially what's his name, Leo Duarte and Ali Şahinad. Bro, these guys, they were the best players basically. Duarte was insanely. I think this is the best game he's played ever. He was everywhere, man, everywhere. He stopped Kerem in his tracks. He stopped Icardi a couple of times. Like, I like respect where respect is due. I think if we only scored one goal today, it's mainly because of this man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't really say any better than that. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, and I'm glad Kazımcan is finally in the starting squad. I think he cemented his spot today after his performance. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I was really impressed with him. I thought he played very mature, actually, for a kid who's 20 years old, and who hasn't been playing consistently, let alone playing much at all, even as a sub. He's been pretty MIA, I'd say, right? And when you see a player like him make a return in a game like this with this much stress, as we discussed earlier in the pod, you might expect him to not really live up to standards. And he did exactly that. He played with fight. He played with strength. He gave his all. There were I'd say there were a lot of moments where he was able to like completely outpace the Başakşehir wingers. And he would make a challenge. He would win a corner kick, and he would really get excited, and that would get the fans excited. There was one position, I think in the second half, he won a corner kick on the left side, and like he just like fist pumped, he roared like a lion, man. Like that's what he was on the left side, and the fans love to see that. So it's really good to see that from him. After the game, he spoke really maturely. He had an interview, and they asked him about the season, the championship, and his role, and he said he was happy to get the opportunity from Okan Hoca, how he was able to take advantage of it, and he hopes that he can continue to play. And he was just really mature, so I'm excited for him. Hopefully, he focuses on building muscle and figuring out defensive and attacking responsibilities at the same time. I think he's going to be a really good left back, and maybe for the Milli Takım too.
We definitely need it for the national team. Yeah, that's still undetermined.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, but yeah, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say about Kazımcan. The only thing I would say is I kind of feel bad for Ali Kugbe because a lot of people really, really hated on him. But like, guys, remember this guy was playing at Karagümrük, right? And it was Karagümrük, right? Am I crazy? Was it another team?
Hatayspor.
Hatayspor, right? And Hatay wasn't that great, okay? And we can't be expecting him to put in crazy performances. Like this is what you're gonna get from Ali Kugbe, right? So let's try to ease it down a little bit with the negativity. But I'll give the fans a big one up. They were awesome. I love the guys. When the fans are in the zone, we're in the zone. So yeah, I think pretty much we covered everything in the game. And I think we're ready to move on to the questions. We got some questions.
Do you want to read it or should I?
Sure, I'll read it.
Go for it.
All right. So We got a question on Twitter from Nico, our boy Nico, at NicoContour1. He says, a win was obviously a move in the right direction considering Fenerbahce drew. Was the overall performance convincing enough looking at Icardi, Mertens, Kerem, Torreira, and Oliveira? So what I think he means is that, like, you think this performance that we gave today enough to carry us to the championship? I think that's what he's asking.
That, and just overall, like as a fan, were you happy with our performance today? Yes, we got the win, but looking at the players and the overall team performance, are we satisfied? Like, do we feel good about how we played today? I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah. Well, I felt like we played pretty decent. It's not our best, but I think the overall point was do not lose this game, right? We didn't go and risk, complete like we did against Fatih Karagümrük, against Pirlos, man, where we just went face first, risk, full on pressing, and conceded 3 in like 10, 15 minutes. So I think that was the point, and why we didn't seem as good throughout the rest of the game after the 25th minute, which is I'm fine, because I think this game is enough. Like, come on, this is Başakşehir still. It's not some random team out of the blue. It's still Başakşehir. They're still going to want to win, right? So I think we did pretty well. And I think it should be enough. I think we'll increase the intensity just a little bit more, considering we have a little bit of a buffer in points now.
Yeah, and just I think we kind of briefly talked about it. It wasn't the best game. I think we could play better.
We should always play better, of course. Yeah.
My prediction last week was 3-1 win. Given Başakşehir's recent performances and how they've been doing, and I thought we would be able to use this game as a really confident bounce back. I expected better in the attack. And to answer, I guess, Nico's specific questions about Icardi, Mertens, Kerem, Torreira, and Oliveira, we just talked about Oliveira. He was not very good today, but that can change. Mertens, I think he can pick it up, but he needs the help of the midfielders around him. Icardi, I thought, made good runs. We actually didn't really talk about Icardi too much in detail during the pod.
Let's touch up on it a little bit. I personally, I felt like everyone was just trying to find Icardi all the time, nonstop. Kerem and Mertens in particular. Sometimes Rashid as well. I think we got to stop with that. Just go for the best option, not give it Icardi and pray.
Mm-hmm. He does his best to get involved. I think when he doesn't get the ball for a good portion of the game, like first half, whatever, like if he constantly makes runs and he doesn't find it, I think he kind of gets cold a little bit, as they say. And then when he does get the opportunity, he doesn't always take advantage of it. I'm not sure. Like he's a tough one, but I think he's been doing pretty damn good for the most part. Kerem, I thought, was pretty poor today. I thought he attempted way too many chances, like too many long balls to Icardi that were just terrible. Like I was actually really upset with Kerem today.
He's having a dip in form for sure, Kerem.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Hopefully that contract helps when it becomes official.
Yeah.
Or maybe the whole conversation threw him off. Maybe it's been ongoing for a couple of weeks now. I don't know. But Kerem does need to pick it up. I was hoping today he would play pretty well, given it was against Başakşehir, but that wasn't the case. And Torreira, everybody already knows he's probably consistently one of our best players, if not our best player. If you were to pick one player this season that's had the best, most consistent games, I would probably say Torreira.
Him and Nelson, probably, I would say.
He's very good. So, yeah, overall, performance convincing enough? Not really, Nico, but we take these wins at this part of the season. So moving on to hopefully the next game and another win.
Hopefully. All right, another comment or question from Twitter. Our friend Gisli Limon, he's in our Discord. He's the GOAT. He's our boy. He's also at the game, actually. He asks, meet up for European Bros when? Well, Limonjum, I don't know, my friend. That would be something you got to ask the guys. But if you're ever in New York, in our part of the woods, you let us know. We'll come find you. We'll show you around.
Yeah, and that applies not just for Galatasaray Limon, but like if any of you listeners are listening for a while and you want to join the Discord, come by. Whether you're in New York or whether you're in Europe, and if you guys build a relationship or anybody with on the pod, usually people are down to meet up. We've met up before several times between a small group of us, but if everybody's interested in watching a derby or something, I'm sure people are more than willing to get together and do something, as long as it's within proximity, of course. But yep, that's that. I think we can move on to Mr. Buckers, Emre.
Yeah, so all right, so this is questions from our Discord. This one doesn't seem to be quite like a question, but he says, "We are close enough to the end of the season to possibly start discussing the squad needs for the upcoming season. One potential is to discuss the squad needs to play at an international pace while using our known squad for the upcoming season." I guess he means like in the league. It is important for us to start thinking about this for sure, because you want to get your squad complete before the next season starts, or before the European competitions start, because I feel like we get burnt on this a lot. We always start losing, especially when you have playoff games, because let's not forget what happened with Tudor, and when we played Ostersund, the team was terrible and it needed time. So you kind of need time. So I feel like if you get your squad in check and ready to go, somewhat ready to go, it's only going to benefit you. And I feel like separating the duties might be a little too much, because we saw with Fenerbahce, right? They have a very big squad and they would like split the teams. But I feel like in the long run, that's not that great. Because listen, there are teams out there that play with the same rotation. Real Madrid, for example, they play with the same rotation for the league and for the international games, right? They might not be doing well in the league this season, but they did it last season. They won. And so it's possible. And I don't know if we have the money. Like, we're not Manchester City, right? We're not going to be able to get every single position that we need and have a really good player there. So I think we're going to have to make some compromises, Yasin. I don't know what you feel.
Yeah, I think we do need to figure out our squad, and I'm sure we're doing it in the background, as we mentioned. With the extensions for Baris and Kerem, and lots of rumors going on with who we're interested in for next season. But we definitely need to figure out a couple areas, starting level roles, left back. Even though Kazımcan played good today, I think we still need a very good left back next season. Somebody that we can count on game in, game out. And obviously you want somebody young, right? Emre, like that you can go on international duty, come back and still be good to go. Not players who are going to go and need some time off, or going to be restricted with minutes, and you're not going to get the same performance. So, and we likely will have sales too. It could be Nelson, it could be Sacha. And when you have sales like that, you need to replace them. And then you need to replace younger players with other younger players, so you can continue to sell and you can continue to buy. So there's a lot that needs to be thought about. Icardi, is he staying? Is he not? And the whole Gomes incident recently. So is Mohamed coming back? Yeah.
Also have a ton of players coming back from loan as well. So there's that.
Yeah. There's a lot that could be discussed, and I think it's a conversation that's better in detail for a different day. But I think you covered a good high level answer.
Yeah. Dude, the only position I 100% know we need a backup is Mertens's spot. Like, they need to be looking for something there and trying to keep Icardi. But like you said, that's for another day. All right, so this is our final question, Yasin, from Zaniolismo on Discord. He asks about Zaniolo. So how do you think Zaniolo has done so far? Has the transfer been a success, or would you hope for more given his status as a league record signing?
Good question. Do you want to go first?
Nah, you take this one.
Zaniolo. I think he's below expectation so far. But, huge but, it's tough to really ask for a lot and to expect the expectation. Like, the expectations, I think, are fair, but immediately is not. He's joining a team that's very established. I would say very established. It's not like we've been together for years, but 6 months in, halfway through the season, he joins a team that's doing very well. very well. And he's the guys that are starting in his positions are pretty much earned their positions, right? He's
Like
coming
Rashica.
Rashica, Kerem, Mertens. You know, these guys are the ones that he's basically replacing sometimes or coming on as a sub on for. And
Yeah.
he's out to prove himself, right? He came from an unfortunate situation at Roma, and there's a lot of expectations, obviously. He's young. He wants to obviously do well immediately and move on to the next destination. Let's be 100% honest here. Zaniolo did not come here to become a Galatasaray legend. May he? May he not? That's to be determined. But that sure as hell is not his initial intention. And if you think otherwise, I will argue. I will gladly have a discussion with you or anybody about it. But I don't think that's the case. And with that said, I think he's trying too hard when he comes on the pitch.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think, look, is he what we expected him to be? We expected him to come and just shred the league like he was shredding Italy. But let's not forget, this kid came from a pretty heavy injury, and he's still mentally not stable, I would say. Because like you said, he wants to prove himself. And when he does that, he makes mistakes. And these mistakes compound onto his lack of mental, state. But regardless of all that, like, you can see this kid has talent. Like, the way he moves, the way he shoots at times, the way he controls the ball, his speed, his physique is it's like, if this kid doesn't become something, like, if we don't even just make our money back, I'm not talking like profit, like, don't make our money back, that would be a surprise to me, to be quite frank. But I can see him, like, if Rashica does not work out by some, like, I don't know, some issue that arises, I can see him taking the reins and being more comfortable and starting to improve. Like, he's already starting to improve in my eyes. I don't know if you caught this, but he's not making stupid fouls anymore. Like, I don't think he had a single foul this game.
Yeah.
Like the fouls he usually makes, right? That's something that I observed.
That's a good point. I think
Right? So he's incrementally improving.
Yeah, I think people also expect him to put a little bit more hustle on the pitch, press. I think his pressing is not nowhere near the level as the rest of the team. 35-plus-year-old Mertens does a better job pressing. Rashica obviously does a better job pressing. And again, I think Zaniolo just needs to understand what this team plays like and what's expected from him. It's not easy to come into a different league and just join in, flawlessly. Not everybody can do that. That's tough. And I think for us to make a proper determination on him, we need to give him a proper preseason with the team, with Okan Hoca and his assistants. And until then, if anybody's saying that he's a flop, is overreacting. Truly, I think you're overreacting if you think he's a flop already. May he turn out to be a flop? Very possible. Anything is. But you need to give him time. You need to give him a chance. It's not like he's done absolute jack shit this whole time. He's scored bangers before. So, just give him time to figure out what his place is and how he needs to play. That's it.
Yep. I agree, man. Just give him time. I think that's the remedy. Well, that's the end of our questions, and let's just get your thoughts on the Istanbul game. But I'll just give mine first because I'm the host. I think with this momentum that we have, I think we're going to win that game. I hope. I'm not going to give score predictions, but you know what? I'm going to tell you on the day of, because I usually get my my feelings, my thoughts, like that hiss, that hiss inside you. I'll tell you day of, and then you guys will have Yasin as a witness. But what about you, Yasin?
Maybe you shouldn't do that because you haven't done that before either, have you? Have you done that before?
Have I done what?
Tell me your feelings before the game.
Well, I will never tell. Like, I haven't done that, but if we win after the game and I say, "Oh, I knew we were gonna win. I felt it." Is that going to be, legit?
Well, after the fact, I guess it's okay. Yeah.
Right after the fact, but then how do you know I'm not making it up?
Nasa, just continue to do what you've been doing. I think it's been working, so no need to switch it up. So I guess you're not giving prediction.
Fine.
And just to quickly give some background or info about the game. Be aware, guys. It's next Tuesday. There's elections going on in Turkey. If you don't already know that, so Our next game is Tuesday, May 16th. So 8 days from the day of our Başakşehir game, which was today. So maybe you can use this weekend to do something productive instead of watch the game and all the post-game stuff that you might otherwise. That definitely applies to me. And Sacha Boey's suspended next game versus Istanbulspor. He got a yellow card, so
stupid the way he got it.
Unfortunately, he's missing the Istanbulspor game. But fortunately, that means there's less of a risk of him missing the Fenerbahçe game when that game does come around. If it matters at the time, we'll see. Istanbulspor is 7 points clear relegation. So they might not play with as much worry and desperate,
intensity.
So we'll see about that. It's an away game. It's still Istanbulspor. It's still an Istanbul game, but it's technically away. So we're not with our own fans. We beat them 2-1 in December last time we played. So that's nice to know. And they're in decent form. They beat Başakşehir not that long ago. The last loss was like 4 or 5 games ago at the beginning of April. So they're coming with confidence, but I'm sure we will too. And with that said, I'll predict a 2-0 win away.
2-0 win.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if our lads can take down Fatih Tekke.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as Yasin and I have. With that said, visit our Instagram, our Twitter at TheLionsDenGS. Leave us some comments, questions if you have. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, hit us up for a Discord invite and get your very own GOAT status. Yup, we give out these GOAT statuses like candy. Anyway, till the next one, lads. Take care and peace out.